And we are live.
Yay! Don't adjust your sets. We did a little swap. Um,
We didn't
internet
intend to. It just
connections.
happened.
Yeah, it happens time for time, and instead of trying to correct it, we're just gonna go with it. I am old new dude, and he is.
I'm Richard York, Ashes Dreamworld Son.
Yeah, I'm so used to the other way, but that's all right. And this is a Storm of Swords Tyrion 7. And then there's some stuff that we definitely want to talk about afterwards. That me and Richard were talking about before we went live. But excited to talk about it. So without further ado, let's just jump into this thing. Take it away, Richard.
Well, Chris is waving from the wall, and as you said, this is Storm 58, Tyrion 7. Are you calling me a monster? Tyrion dressed himself in darkness, listening to his wife's soft breathing from the bed they shared. She dreams, he thought, when Sansa murmured something softly, a name perhaps, though it was too faint to say, and turned onto her side. As man and wife, they shared a marriage bed, but that was all. Even her tears, she boards to herself. And we'll actually hear about her dream in the next chapter. He had expected anguish and anger when he told her of her brother's death, but Sansa's face had remained so still that for a moment he feared she had not understood. It was only later, with the heavy oaken door between them, he heard her sob. Tyrion had considered going to her then, to offer what comfort he could. No, he had to remind himself, she would not look for solace from the Lannister. The most he could do was to shield her from the uglier details of the Red Wedding as they came down from the twins. Sansa did not need to hear how her brother's body had been hacked and mutilated, he decided, nor how her mother's corpse had been dumped naked with Greenfork in the savage mockery of House Tully's funeral customs. The last thing the girl needed was more fodder for her nightmares. So I think there's still some ambiguity as to the accuracy of the information received, but it does sound like Tyrion has access to information directly from the Freys, Boltons, and Karstarks.
Yeah.
I definitely think it's worth noting that any reports of the Hound fighting with his helm have been lost in the noise from Robb Stark's corpse. So they kind of did that themselves. They probably would have, if they hadn't done that, perhaps they would have heard of what was going on with it. But by all these rumors and the activities surrounding Robb's corpse and how they mutilated it, um, it has, I think that prevented them from actually hearing the news that the Hound was there.
Yeah.
Because he was there and fighting in his Hound helm. So anyway,
Yeah. Deck of cards. Hey.
hello.
Yeah, I agree. The reports of the wolf head being on the body of Rob could be the people seeing the hound through the corner of their eyesight, or
Or the reports of the Hound were had, if any, were dismissed as people having seen Rob from a distance or something, right?
yeah. Well, I mean, it's like we said before, when you play the phone game or whatever,
Yep,
you start.
telephone.
Yeah, when this person tells that person, and they tell
Yep,
that, by the time it gets back around, it's completely different. And this could be the exact same thing of people citing the hound they're fighting, and by the time it got to the people that needed to transfer the information, it was just okay. That was just the wolf head on Rob, or something to that effect, and gives the hound complete unexposure of his whereabouts and doings.
but if it's true, Robert Strong could have Rob's head. I've heard that theory. It was not enough, though. He'd wrapped his cloak around her shoulders and sworn to protect her, but that was as cruel a jape as the crown the Freys had placed atop the head of Robb Stark's direwolf after they'd sewn it onto his headless corpse. Sansa knew that as well. The way she looked at him, her stiffness when she climbed into their bed. When he was with her, never for an instant could he forget who he was or what he was. No more than she did. She still went nightly to the godswood to pray, and Tyrion wondered if she were praying for his death. She had lost her home, her place in the world, and everyone she had ever loved or trusted. Winter is coming, warned the Stark words, and truly it had come for them with a vengeance. But it is high summer for House Lannister, so why am I so bloody cold? Maybe because
Now,
you,
oh, go ahead.
maybe because you represent an echo of Ned Stark. Maybe
Yeah,
you'll maybe you'll even be Lord of Winterfell with a bunch of secret bastards someday. See Triplet Dragons episodes 1 and 2.
now we've either it's got to be in the past that she has um, not necessarily wrangled Tyrion in with the rest of the Lannisters wholeheartedly, as far as mentioning how kind he was, or
Yeah,
he tried to help, or he was the only one that
she tells Lysa that later. Yeah,
yeah. Okay. I don't know if it was before or after this, but I mean,
yeah, she'll tell Lysa
yeah,
that.
yeah, she definitely sees the difference in the Lannisters for sure, as far as Tyrion goes.
Yep. He pulled on his boots, fastened his cloak with a lion's head brooch, and slipped out into the torchlit hall. There was this much to be said for his marriage. It had allowed him to escape Maegor's holdfast. Now that he had a wife and a household, his Lord Father had agreed that more suitable accommodations were required, and Lord Giles had found himself abruptly dispossessed of the spacious apartments atop of the kitchen, and splendid apartments they were, too. A large bedchamber and adequate solar, a bath and dressing room for his wife, and small adjoining chambers for Pod and Sansa's maids. Even Bronn's cell by the stair had a window of sorts. Well, more an arrow slit, but at least in light. The castle's main kitchen was just across the courtyard, true, but Tyrion found those sounds and smells infinitely preferable to sharing Maegor's with his sister. The less he had to see of Cersei, the happier he was like to be. So there's an adjoining chamber for Tywin's spy Shay and a cell by the stair for Tywin's sellsword Bronn. I've been thinking about that more and more, and in the wording that he keeps asking over and over again, to both Bronn and to Shay, like, who did you take him from? Who did you take her from? That the person you took her from might be beside me in battle. The person you took him from might want me dead. Bronn says, I'm the one who'll be beside you in battle. Tyrion says, Tywin's the one who wants me dead. It's like, it's all right there. Right?
Yeah.
And you
Well,
picture
George often poses the question and gives you the answer
yeah,
pretty much right away.
yeah.
But
And
it,
Tywin, picture Tywin. He sees Tyrion show up with a sellsword, and remember, Tywin always considers people who are only loyal to gold to be a plus because he has the most gold, right?
right.
And a bunch of barbarians. And what do you think he's going to do? He's going to try and plant a spy, and the person he's not going to go to the barbarians to try and plant a spy. He's going to go to Bronn anyway.
Yeah.
Uh, Tyrion could hear Brella snoring as he passed her cell. Shay complained of that, but it seemed a small enough price to pay. Varys had suggested the woman to him. In former days, she had run Lord Renly's household in the city. She had given her a deal of practice being blind, deaf, and mute. Lighting a taper, he made his way back to the servant steps and descended. The floors below his own were still, and he heard no footsteps but his own. Down he went, to the ground floor and beyond, to emerge in a gloomy cellar with a vaulted stone ceiling. Much of the castle was connected underground, and the kitchen keep was no exception. She had waddled along a long, dark passageway until he found the door he wanted, and pushed through. Within, the dragon skulls were waiting, and so was Shay. I thought my lord had forgotten me. Her dress was draped over a black tooth near as tall as she was. She stood within the dragon's jaws, nude. Valerian, he thought, or was it Vagar? One dragon skull looked much like another. Just the sight of her made him hard. Come out of there. I won't, she smiled, her wickedest smile. My lord will pluck me from the dragon's jaws, I know. But when he waddled closer, she leaned forward and blew out the taper. Shay, he reached, but she spun and slipped free. You have to catch me. The voice came from his left. My lord must have played monsters and maidens when he was little. Are you calling me a monster? Yes, actually, we've been known to point out you will decide to become one.
Yes.
No more than I'm a maiden. She was behind him, her steps soft against the floor. He'd to catch me all the same. He did, finally, but only because she let herself be caught. By the time she slipped into his arms, he was flushed and out of breath from stumbling into dragon skulls. All that was forgotten in an instant when he felt her small breast pressed against his face in the dark, her stiff little nipples brushing lightly over his lips, and the scar where his nose had been. Tyrion pulled her down onto the floor. My giant, she breathed as he entered her. My giant's come to save me. After, as they lay entwined amongst the dragon skulls, he rested his head against her, inhaling the smooth, clean smell of her. We should go back, he said reluctantly. It must be near dawn. Sansa will be waking. You should give her dream wine, she said. Like Lady Tanda does with Lawless. A cup before she goes to sleep, and we could fuck in bed beside her without her waking. She giggled. Maybe we should some night. Lord, like that. Her hand found his shoulder and began to knead the muscles there. Your neck is hard as stone. What troubles you? So Of course, that's meant to remind us of Jamie, also, right? Jamie and Cersei would, when Robert would get so drunk, they would just have sex right there next to him.
Yeah, he would step over Robert to get to her because he was passed out on the floor.
Yep. Tyrion could not see his fingers in front of his face, but he ticked his woes off of them all the same. My wife, my sister, my nephew, my father, the Tyrells. He had to move to his other hand. Varys, Pycelle, Littlefinger, the Red Viper of Dorne. He come to his last finger. The face that stares back out of the water when I wash.
Hey, just to point out something, I was rewatching Kevin Pendragon.
Yep.
His the lives of Varys and everything, talking about how Varys is more dangerous than Littlefinger is. I think it's funny that out of the members of the small council, Varys's name is listed first, and I think that might be a small nod into who the actual most dangerous people on the small council are, and the order is, or have been on small council. Order is Varys, Pycelle, Littlefinger, and the Red Viper of Dorne.
You're
Meaning,
thinking that's in order of who's most of a threat to Tyrion?
well, the most dangerous members, because the reason he says that Varys kills Pycelle and then Kevin was making things normal again and saving the realm basically, and he didn't need that. He needed it in chaos.
We talked that
But
Pycelle
was more dangerous than anybody thought.
Thought that he's the most competent, right? He's actually one of the most competent people there.
Well, not only that he's not completely oblivious to all the inner goings of the people that are trying to play the Game of Thrones, as far as Varys and Littlefinger go and all that he has information that could hurt them, that he's actually is not the simple lick spittle that to Tywin, that there was more going on with Pycelle than a lot of people think. So
I think Dorcas is actually trying, and I mean, Varys, obviously, let's say Dorcas. I think Dorcas is actively trying to kill Tyrion, and of course, Littlefinger will be actively trying to kill Tyrion. Pycelle is certainly loyal to Cersei and somewhat against Tyrion. He's very much against Tyrion at this point.
Yeah.
And confident. So, yeah. Anyway. Shay kissed his maimed, scarred nose. A brave face, a kind and good face. I wish I could see it now. All the sweet innocence of the world was in her voice. Innocence? Fool, she's a whore. All she knows of men is the bit between their legs. Fool. Better you than me, Tyrion said. We have a long day before us, both of us. We shouldn't have blown out that taper. How are we to find our clothing? She laughed. Maybe we'll have to go naked. And if we're seen, my lord father will hang you. Tyrion Shay, as one of Sansa's maids, had given him an excuse to be seen talking with her. Tyrion did not delude himself that they were safe. Varys had warned him. I gave Shay a false history, but it was meant for Lawless and Lady Tanda. Her sister is of a more suspicious mind. She should ask me what I know. We'll tell her some clever lie. No, I will tell the girl is a common camp follower that you acquired before the battle on the Green Fork, brought to King's Landing against your lord father's express command. Will not lie to the queen.
Hey, that tends to go a little bit, is that he was lying just then when he gives the same backstory that Tyrion believes of Shay.
Yeah, I will tell her that. Yeah, I'll tell her the truth. I will
not lie to the queen.
Right.
So I mean,
he may have figured out that she is Tywin's spy. It's possible.
Right. But the story of her being just a common camp follower.
Right. There's a implication by George, perhaps, that she's more than that. Sure.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the fan theories are, I mean, she is Sorella. She is an unnamed sand snake.
Yeah.
There are so many. I mean, there are theories on who Shay is, and none of them are of a common camp follower.
Well,
They're
there's
all
people that think
something.
that. I'm sure there's people that think that there's nothing to Shay.
Yeah,
But
it's probably. There's a lot of people out there that doesn't believe any of the side theories,
sure,
that anything secret is going on,
right,
that this person is exactly who they say they
right,
are.
right.
Everyone that's dead is dead. Nobody is getting a second. I mean, yeah, I'm just.
I don't think those people have read and understood Gene Wolfe. That's for sure. But anyway,
Yeah,
no. I'm saying I think George has been taught to do what we think he's doing. So anyway,
I agree with you 100%. I mean, the first time I read the story, I was a little naive,
sure,
and as you've watched a couple of videos with the first reading, and then you go back to read it yourself,
yeah,
you see stuff that they saw, but then you start looking for your own thing. I mean, you're reading it with your own eyes and your own brain,
yeah.
looking for the lie, looking for what's hidden,
Yep.
and it makes the second and the third read more fun than the first read.
Although he does say, "I will not lie to the queen," so the implication is that he believes that's the truth.
Well, I think he's lying to Tyrion right there.
Although Tyrion right away says, "You've lied to her before. Shall I tell her that?" He sighed. That cuts more deeply than a knife, my lord. I've served you loyally, but I must also serve your sister when I can. How long do you think she would let me live if I were of no further use to her whatsoever? I have no fierce sellsword to protect me, no valiant brother to avenge me, only some little birds who whisper in my ear. Those whisperings I must buy my life anew each day. Pardon me if I do not weep for you. I shall, but you must pardon me if I do not weep for Shay. I confess, I do not understand what there is in her to make a clever man like you act such a fool. There's that word fool again. My son didn't read the books and he was surprised by the wedding. Hello, families, she said earlier, by the way, Mother Wayne.
So, hey, mother.
You might if you were not a eunuch. I
Hey,
don't know.
on
I'm
that
not
real
sure that
quick.
he is.
I don't think he is either. That was another thing that I asked him, Pendragon. With Laris the Clubfoot as the template for Varys, faking an
Right.
affliction that
Mm-hmm.
put him aside of other normal people.
Preston's been on this for years, saying this for years. Yep.
Yeah. I think you were the first one that told me about it.
Right, but I was
heard it from you.
I was just quoting Preston. Yeah.
Yeah, but I heard it from you first. So I mean, I was like, yeah, that makes a whole lot of sense.
Is that the way of it? A man may have wits or a bit of meat between his legs, but not both. Ferris tittered. Perhaps I should be grateful I was cut then. Where do you see our previous Wednesday theory stream discussing whether Dorcas Ferris is really a eunuch? Spider was right. Tyrion groped through the dragon-haunted darkness for small clothes, feeling wretched. The risk he was taking left him tight as a drumhead. There was guilt as well. The others can take my guilt, he thought as he slipped his tunic over his head. Why should I be guilty? My wife wants no part of me, and most especially not the part that seems to want her. Perhaps he ought to tell her about Shay. It's not as though he was the first man ever to keep a concubine. Since his own oh-so-honorable father had given her a bastard brother, for all he knew, his wife might be thrilled to learn that he was fucking Shay, as long as it spared her his unwelcome touch. He gave her a bastard sister and 3 bastard brothers. See Triplet Green's episodes 1 and 2.
Might be a
No.
short chapter, but you're sticking those in here.
No, I dare not. Vows or no, his wife could not be trusted. She might be maiden between the legs, but she was hardly innocent of betrayal. She once spilled her own father's plans to Cersei. Girls her age were not known for keeping secrets. And whatever you do, or you knew what was next, they said it together. Don't tell Sansa. The only safe course was to rid himself of Shay. I might send her to Chitaya, Tyrion reflected reluctantly. Chitaya's brothel, she would have all the silks and gems she could wish for, gentle skyborn patrons. It would be a better life by far than the one she had been living when he found her. Or, if she was tired of earning her bread on her back, he might arrange a marriage for her. Bronn, perhaps? The sellsword had never balked at eating off his master's plate. He was a knight now, better matched than she could elsewise hope for. Or Sir Talon? Tyrion had noticed that one gazing wistfully at Shay more than once. Why not? He's tall, strong, not hard to look upon. Every inch the gifted young knight. Of course, Talon knew Shay only as a pretty young lady's maid in service at the castle. If you wed her and then learned she was a whore. My lord, where are you? Did the dragons eat you up? No, here. He groped at a dragon skull. I found a shoe, but I believe it's yours. My lord sounds very solemn. Have I displeased you? No, he said too curtly. You always please me. Therein is our danger. You might dream of sending her away at times like this, but that never lasted long. Tyrion saw her dimly through the gloom, pulling a woolen sock up a slender leg. I could see. Vague light was leaking through the row of long, narrow windows set high in the cellar wall. The skulls of the Targaryen dragons were emerging from the darkness around them, black amidst gray. Day comes too soon. A new day, a new year, a new century. I survived the Green Fork and the Blackwater. I can bloody well survive King Joffrey's wedding. Nice ironic foreshadowing. Our characters are often wrong. They snatched her dress down off the dragon's tooth and slipped it over her head. I'll go up first. Bella will want help with the bathwater. She bent over to give him one last kiss on the brow. My giant of Lannister, I love you so. And I love you as well, sweetie. Or she might well be. She deserved better than what he had to give her. How better Mr. Callum? He seems a decent man and tall. Up next, Storm 59, Sansa 4. Tyrion starts his dagger investigation. Tyrion and Oberyn discuss Viserys II, fifth son of Queen Rhaenyra I, father of Aegon IV, great-great-grandfather of Egg, Aegon the Fortunate, the fifth of his name, who is the grandfather of the Mad King. Rhaenyra, by my count, would then be 5 greats-grandmother to the Mad King and 6 greats to Rhaegar, and if we are right, she's 7 greats to Dany. See, Triplet Targaryens, episode 4. So I think we mentioned last week.
I don't know if it's happening for them, but for me, you're roboting.
Really?
But
might be you.
You were roboting for me, but I don't know if that's me or you. Because like I said, I got bad signal today.
You're kind of stuttering. I mean, your video stuttering.
Okay.
Like the video where someone will secretly plot your death over the next several weeks through a convoluted series of ridiculous steps that fall through at any number of places. I think that was supposed to be it's you, Dad, says Chris.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Like I said, with the overcast and the rain today, my signal sucks.
So a few notes on House of the Dragon. I think we mentioned last week that the third episode was giving some nice nods to mistaken identities, and perhaps Joanna Lannister as a silent sister in King's Landing, and Princess Septa Sclera Martell as the mother of Oberyn and Doran.
Yeah.
Yeah, I figured you meant that there. I think there are 2 sentences from Fire and Blood that I was glad the 4th episode was faithful to, even if I have heard complaints from Preston. And here's the 2 sentences. It is recounted that Princess Rhaenys, the queen who never was, did not shrink from her foe. With a glad cry and a crack of her whip, she sent Meleys flying up to face them. So I joked on Blue Sky that there was a resemblance of Rhaenys falling to Bran and Jaime falling, which confirms that the burned corpse was not really her. Rhaenys' body was found several days later amidst the ruin of the Red Queen's corpse, so burned as to be unrecognizable. So anyway, if the biggest complaints people have about this last few episodes nods to interpretations of the source material, I think they're doing a pretty good job.
Yeah. Well, anytime George burns something beyond recognition, or there is nobody, or
right.
Yeah,
no, I don't think that George secretly has somebody later that's really Rhaenys or whatever, but he does like ambiguity, and he does like having burned corpses that can't be recognized and so forth.
Right.
In fact, he's even talking about skulls. One skull looks like another in this very chapter, right?
Yeah.
So we want to talk about what I think is going on.
Yeah, go ahead.
What we think. We've already gotten on the same page. We know.
Yeah, we're definitely on the same page on this next subject.
Right. So in the past, I believe that George considered it a mistake for his publisher to announce the date of dance 2 months before he was done with dance. Right. As they moved into final edits, the publisher announced the date at the same time as they announced the 4-book set with new covers to match the 5th book, and when they came out with the 4th book, they put out a 3-book set when that was getting ready to launch, with the 3 books in new covers designed to match the 4th book. So right before the 4th book came out, they put out a new set of 3 with new covers. Right before the 5th book came out, they put a new set of 4 with covers. And I think George is worried that they're going to do the same thing to him. That they're going to leak that it's done before he's really done, and that the last 2 months are going to be stressful for him because people already know it's coming out when it's not even finished, right? And so I believe that he is trying to prevent that from happening again. All the rumors that it's done when it's not really done, and in fact, the official announcement that it's done when it's not really done, that happened last time, because I think it was very stressful for him, and I think he learned his lesson that he can't let that happen again. So I do think that they're moving to final edits, that he's very close to being done. The publisher's ready to move forward with the 5 books with the new covers to match the 6th book, and that's what we're seeing, but that he's told them, yes, you can still keep your schedule for getting that out for the Christmas shopping season, but do not announce that the book is done until it's really done this time. And that's what I think is happening.
Yeah. I honestly think, I agree 100%. I honestly think that what George wants to do before he gives the all clear, here it is, let's rock and roll, is for him to take a couple of days away from it and then sit down and start reading from page 1 to page done and give it his stamp of approval. It's ready type situation. I know that's in the edits and we got to go back, change this word in that chapter and everything.
And it was almost 2 months from the time that they announced the publishing date until he actually posted Twas Beauty, right, which was his announcement that he was finished.
Right.
But they had already announced the publishing date 2 months earlier, and so I think that was extremely stressful. I think he's learned his lesson. He's not going to have to let them do that again, and I think we should expect that there will be an announcement before Christmas. It may even be available for pre-order before Christmas. It's even possible, based upon the timing, that if he finishes this as fast, and I don't think he will, because I think it's bigger and I think it's got more on his plate and so forth. But if he finished it in the same amount of time as from when they felt like it was time to move forward with the box set last time, the box set of 4 last time. So people don't, the fact that people, them literally following the pattern that they've only ever done right before a book announcement, and people say, oh, they wouldn't do that, that's what I'm like, guys, this is literally what they do. They don't announce a new 5-book series, a new series with a new cover without, with new covers without putting out a new book, as far as I can tell. I don't think that's what they do. What they do is what they do. Yes, I said do.
Hey, at least it wasn't taint.
What they do is they actually put out a cover right before each book, right, a new box set right before each book comes out that is the new covers to match. That is how they behave. It's and people say that no, this proves that it's not close. I'm like, what? By your logic, they proved that Dance wasn't going to come out right before Dance came out, and they proved that Feast wasn't going to come out right before Feast came out. Like, that doesn't make any sense.
Every penny they can get out of this.
But that doesn't make any sense when people are like, well, they wouldn't do that. I'm like, they wouldn't do exactly what they did with each of the previous books? What are you talking about?
Now, on Pod says, sorry, I'm late, doctor.
This is a shout out to all of us who never lost hope. Mr. Crow is yo, sorry I'm late, doctor. A pod's never late. Sounds like I haven't missed anything substantive. It was a pretty short chapter.
Yeah.
We're done. We're talking about how they behave and how George doesn't want this to be exactly like Dance. That in the past, how they behave is they do put out a set minus the new book. The year that they're coming out with the new book in the new cover to match the and so I believe that George, you could just rewatch, but I believe that George does not want to do what happened with Dance, which is they announced that the book was done before it was done, 2 months before it was done, almost. It was like March 7th, and I can't remember the exact dates, but I posted them on social media multiple times. I probably just go to my notifications because I've done this so many times now. Anyway, the point is that they posted on search for March 3rd, 2011, and George wasn't done until April 27th. So they announced that it was done almost 2 months before it was done. And I think that was very stressful for George. And I
Right.
think he does not want that to happen again. So he's preemptively saying, do not leak that we're almost done here, guys. That sucked. I don't want to do that again.
Well, it steals his thunder too.
Yeah, that too.
I mean, this is George's world, George's writing, and Grant. I know the publishers and all that, they have their part to play and everything, but it's still George's. And when they steal his thunder, then see, I don't know if he gets possessive, like this is mine. I mean, don't, it's not yours. I mean, when they steal his thunder, I think he gets a bit jealous in the fact that, oh, do they think it's part theirs? It's all mine. I mean, so yeah, I think George is selfish, not rightfully so selfish. I don't want to make it sound like I'm talking bad about him or anything. It is his world. It is his writing.
I think
It is
it
his
hurt
words.
him. I think it hurt him, and I think it hurt all the people he liked at the publishing house that he had to work closely with because it was so stressful. Dan and Dave were way better telling the stories this pod. Our resident troll.
Oh my goodness. Pod. Now I wonder how many people out there that have forsworn the books and I'm done with it. I threw the book at the TV. I mean, I'm tired of waiting. We're never going to get it. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, I've been shaky on my trust in what's going on, and worried that. But I've never said that I'm not going to read it. But those that have said that, and there have been those that make videos that no longer make videos about Game of Thrones. They're done with it. Or the book reviews that they typically do a bunch of different
said
books.
that they were done with it unless a book came out. So there were definitely those that said I'm done with it unless a book comes out.
Yeah, that's true.
There were quite a few, but there may be some that said that they were no longer interested or whatever. I'm sure there probably are some. But
Yeah, they weren't talking about the books anymore, but if a new book came out, they would read it.
yeah, there were some that said that they were done until a new book comes out. I do remember that. Anyway,
I'd seen some people that I had never seen before do any of the Song of Ice and Fire book reviews, and were asked to do a book review on the Song of Ice and Fire, and their reasoning for not doing it was it was 10 years or more between the last book and still waiting on the winner.
Preston's made some ridiculous stuff about how nobody ever does this. Nobody's ever had a gap this long and then actually come back and finish the series and so forth. So it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see what his take is when the book comes out. Whether he remembers that he said some of these things, or there were years where he said, if we don't have at least a good update by the end of this year, that's never coming out, stuff like that. Where it was like last year was definitely not a good announcement.
Most of our characters are usually wrong.
Well, yeah. And as Preston says, I'm probably wrong about half this stuff.
Yep.
Anyway,
or something like that.
I need to put out a predictions video, so I'm going to try and put together my predictions, a list of my predictions, which ones I'm more confident in, and so forth. And maybe I'll try and record.
We're talking about predictions that happen in Winds of Winter.
Yeah, or at least predictions of what's going to happen in the rest of the series before the Winds of Winter comes out, in case there's more evidence.
Jamie's going to ride a dragon.
I think it's more likely Marcella, but okay.
No, Jamie.
More likely Marcella.
Jamie.
Jamie's not going to ride.
Jamie. Did I get half credit because she's half Jamie?
Okay.
Jamie is going to ride the white and gold dragon. Those are the reasonings for the coloring.
I do think it's supposed to be a Lannister color. I just think it's Marcella.
Well, Lannisters aren't white and gold. If it was a Lannister it would be a red and gold dragon.
Oh, okay.
A white and gold dragon signifies
Okay,
what
that's
Jamie is
interesting.
both of
Okay, that's
a
interesting.
brother of the Kingsguard wearing his white and the gold armor that he wore as a Lannister.
Yeah,
He even
I can see your
combined
argument.
that on the day that King's Landing fell. He had his gold armor on, but he still wore his white cloak. So the
All right.
white and gold signifies Jamie. The green, was it green and gold?
Well, that's supposed
Another
to be
dragon? That's Cersei. I mean, she's wearing green dresses constantly, and then the green flames from Dragonfire. I mean, that's how I read the dragons.
okay.
The red and black can be backwards as black and red for Dany, whether she's
Maybe it's going to be is that Night King? And ride the undead ice dragon. His ice breath melts ice wall.
well, I mean, I would still technically be right. He becomes king and he does ride a dragon, so I'm okay with that thought.
Anyway,
Yeah, I know. I like having fun with this.
all right. Well,
The only reason I said that because when Chris was talking the other day, I'm like, well, Pod's not here, so I'm not gonna talk about Jamie or something. I forget what it was, what we were talking about. The only reason I really like to dig into the Jamie Spurs is Pod. So yeah.
so anyway, I'm working on my predictions so I can try
Okay.
and get out a list of all the things that I think are going to happen that most people don't. And then if I'm right, I'll have something to point to say, hey, look, I put that out before the book came out.
I did that. What was that video? I watched a big channel that never gave me a light of day, which is not why I did the video. But um, when people, even the big people, especially the big people, crap all over somebody else's theory, um, which I hadn't thought a lot about the theory at the time until they started crapping on it and basically just making the people that even thought it or asked the questions look like complete fools and idiots and all this kind of stuff. It pissed me off. So then I started thinking about the theory. And the theory is that Gendry is the rightful son of Cersei and Robert.
Uh,
There was a baby swap with the stillborn. Robert wasn't there. I mean, Pycelle doesn't in the book she say she wouldn't even let Pycelle near her or something like that. I can't remember, but that Gendry is actually the legitimate heir of Robert, the firstborn son, legitimate son, and the rightful heir to Robert's crown. She hates his theory. I almost said who she was. But I did the video, and I'm like, well, let's stop and think about it. I mean, it could happen. There is the episode that George wrote that mentions the baby with the black hair that died, and then the Gendry's mother had blonde hair, that tavern wench, and then we get the Cersei and them dressing up to see each other and tavern wench or something like that. Was I forget all of it, but at the end of it, and then like, well, and then there being the secret Targaryens would put them in the bloodline that says Azor Ahai is going to be born from. And then I was like, okay, well, I'm predicting he's going to be Azor Ahai. I went even further with the theory just to stretch it on out and to make it as a shotgun to the face of the person that hates the theory. That he's Azor Ahai. He's the only one that can pull a sword from flames because he's a blacksmith's apprentice. He possibly even knows the spells to rework Valyrian steel to reforge it. So I mean, it was a pretty little long video for me that just took it kind of to the extreme on all the things Gendry related. And at the end of it, I'm like, let's say, as far fetched as this possibly is, if I end up being right, I'm gonna come back on here and be laughing in everybody's face. So when I was right, I was right, I was right.
Fair
Uh,
enough.
so I mean that's all, most of my theories are kind of out there or piggybacking or just stupid stuff that like the colors of the dragons and possible dragon riders of how I decided who the dragon riders are going to be was based on the colors of the dragons.
Well, and I do like the idea that the three dragon riders aren't really going to be the triplet Targaryens, right? That gives you more things to argue about as to who are the three heads of the dragon. Is it the triplet Targaryens or is
Well, stop and think of this scenario, okay? Dany comes to Westeros. She has her dragon, okay? And let's say that the green and gold dragon gets stolen by Euron, which I don't think it's going to happen, but if he does, and if the Lady of Light in the image of the tentacled person sitting on the throne is Cersei, then she would have access to that green dragon. But see, Dany comes to Westeros with her dragon and one other, and if it's the white and gold dragon, and she brings it to the Riverlands, Jamie is in the Riverlands, so that would give him access,
Oh,
and the dragon actually
wait a
looking
minute.
for.
Okay. So wait. So I've been saying it's the princess and the queen, right? I've been saying that means we need Jamie on one side with I don't know Aegon and Marcella and Cersei on the other side, right? So that you've got our princess character and our queen character, which is to say Arianne and Marcella on opposite sides. Now that we are talking about Viserion, doesn't he match Val perfectly? Well, that's part of the point. Is that there's who they're supposed to be with, and then who they're with. That's part of what I'm saying. Is maybe we wind up with where it's clear from the symbolism that they're supposed to be with Aegon and Val, but they don't wind up being the dragon riders. So now people debate that, right? As well, who are the three heads of the dragon? Those are the people that wound up with the dragon, or people who were meant to have the dragon, but didn't actually wind up with them, right? And so,
right, I tend to agree with deck of cards as far as the Val goes.
Yep.
But what I think is going to happen is the first seeds that the dragons come across that is a strong enough seed and a strong enough match that they might go that way.
Well, and it does count as, and it's clear you're saying, it's Val, it's Visenya, it's Vagar, it's Viserion, right? Those are all meant to be tied together with the V names and everything too, right?
Yeah.
Anyway,
like I said, my theories are kind of out there, but yeah, I tend to agree with that cards on the white dragon that should go to Val.
That's who was supposed to win.
Well, I mean, the argument has been made that Ghost was supposed to go to her to begin with.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is that's what's supposed to happen, but I don't know that's who's actually going to wind up riding.
Right, and if those theories are correct, and Ghost was supposed to go to Val, then as in the
yeah, no, we get it. I get it. Deck of cards that you're saying the coloring is appropriate for that. Honey hair is supposed to be gold, and she's the one that's all in white, and I get that.
Yeah, we agree 100%.
I'm not saying that you were the one saying that DV and B. In addition, the name is a deliberate hint. Right, the names are all deliberate hint to tie it all together as well.
Right. And those that say that Ghost should have gone to Val, Ghost went to the closest seed that was there, and John. And then there's those that say no, John was supposed to get Ghost, Val was supposed to get the dragon.
Yeah, I think that's right. I do think that's right. John's supposed to get the Ghost, and Val's supposed to get the Viserion. I think that's right.
Yeah, but to mess with Pod, I think Jamie's going to get it.
And who's supposed to get somebody who actually does may not be the same thing.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we still got to remember that there is the ice dragon, which Pod points out, which I think John's going to awaken. To be the dragon awoken from stone, or the stone dragon being awoken.
Right. John's old friend, the ice dragon.
Yeah,
Everything else,
those two.
everything
Yeah,
else
those two
points
are.
to there being an ice dragon hidden at the wall. Every other mention of the ice dragon points to there being an ice dragon located at the wall and hidden, and the wall being like an ice dragon, and things at the wall being like things of the ice dragon, and all this stuff.
Yeah.
Every single freaking quote except the ice dragon is John's old friend.
Yeah. Let me see if I got the book right here.
Yes.
Where's that?
What are you looking for? The ice dragon? The ice dragon downstairs.
No, I was looking at the inside cover of A World of Ice and Fire.
Pod is funny. Pod says Jamie is definitely going to get it. Thanks, Lady Stoneheart.
Going to get the dragon? Yeah.
I do worry that we may not get much of Jamie at the beginning of the book.
Where is it at? There's a picture in one of the books that has 3 dragons on one side and then the big dragon on the other, and that is what people are saying is the ice dragon. I know I've seen the picture, and for the life of me, I don't know exactly where it is. I have to look it up. But yeah, I think John's going to awaken the ice dragon. Either a Targaryen Lannister blooded person is going to get the white dragon, for sure, and a Targaryen Stark dragon. Well, I can actually go either way because white is the main color of the Stark flag, ice. So the Stark Targaryen get the white. I don't know. I got all messed up.
There's 3 of them anyway, so
Yeah, I mean, somebody's going to get them. But I think people that were originally supposed to get the dragons might not end up with a dragon because there's a whole lot of world going on between that time. Because there's Targaryen blood on Dragonstone that don't have dragons in House of Dragon, correct? And then you have seeds.
Oh yeah, of course.
Then you got seeds that do get dragons.
We need more dragons, says Pod.
I agree. Well, there's dragons stirring underneath the shy.
Thistle has argued that, right? That there are clues of other dragons, and maybe you can't really have a dance with dragons with only 3 dragons. And so maybe there will be more dragons. He's certainly left it open. There could be. He does that. He's a gardener. He plants seeds in multiple directions. He believes in ambiguity. He believes in multiple correct interpretations.
Well, if you stop and look, when Dany gets her dragon eggs, and when Bran does his sleeping fall and sees dragons stirring from under a shy or whatever the wording is, they're too close together for them to be the same dragon eggs that he sees in a shy and the eggs that Dany gets. I can't remember which happens first, but they're way too close together. They're not the same things they're not the same thing. They're not the dragon eggs in a shy that Bran sees, and then they go all the way to Pentos and then give to Dany. I can't remember if she gets them before he does the fall or after fall, but they're not the same thing. There are dragons stirring underneath the shy or whatever the words is. Which
with dragons stirred beneath the sunrise.
Imagine you're on with 100+ years old sheep stiller. Ooh, that's nice. Oh, here's a theory. Before we go, I know we're getting winded here because of a short chapter, but what is it? Ariana or
Ariana?
I'm talking about the one that took Valerion to. What is it? Say again.
You may be right. That may have been.
I can't remember the exact name, but the girl that took Valerion to Valeria and then came back. Valerion's got a big scar down his side, and she's got things crawling underneath her skin, and she's burning up, and it's fireworms. And I told I can't pronounce that, but yeah, thank you, deck of cards. I told Chris, I'm like, My theory is when dragons were created, just like everybody that thinks this, they were made from wyverns, which grow to a certain size but don't get any bigger and don't breathe fire, and they're not nearly uh, most of them big enough to ride. Um, Definitely don't breathe fire. Added to the fireworms, which I think we're told continuously grow the older they get, to create the dragons. And the link between the Valerians and the dragons is fireworm blood. Okay. And in that blood, there is microscopic little fireworms that either lay dormant, or that's the power in King's blood, is the little fireworms that are inside the blood.
Sorry, I
And
switched ISP. I think we're wacky.
was that me or you?
It might have been you, but I went in with ISP just to make sure.
Okay. Well, in the blood, there are these teeny tiny microscopic little fireworms. And when she went to Valeria to the 14 flames that blew, she didn't get infected with fireworms. The fireworms that are in Targaryen blood, the little microscopic firewood form blood, basically got activated and they started growing. And as they grew, they started burning their way out of her. So I'm saying that the power in King's blood, just like Melisandre used little slugs, like a worm type looking thing, to perform some type of magic, it's the fireworms in Targaryen blood that is the power in King's blood, if that makes any sense.
Sure.
It's kind of out there. Sorry. I was just saying that the girl that went to Valeria didn't get infected with fireworms. They were already in the Targaryen's blood, and it just got activated and just started growing. Instead of them actually coming into her, they're actually were in her already and going out. Thank you, Lady Thistle. I don't know if I made any sense with it or not, but in my head it made perfect sense. Just like all my stupid videos or theories.
All
Hey,
right.
look, most of my theories are just gut reactions and stupid crap that pops in my head. What do you say?
My theory is similar. The original four-legged dragon got extincted. Valerian created the wyvern fireworm hybrids and branded them as dragons. In experiments, they created dragon parasites. Oh, George wouldn't like that at all. This original four-legged dragon thing, he would not like. He's
But
just
I like that. I like the dragon parasite stuff.
he's just posted the whole Valerian dragons is all PR.
Like, yep. Same brain waves.
All right. Well, let's wrap it up. We managed to we were done.
We did 20 almost 20 minutes on it started with you. I just wanted to point that out. It started with you.
I know.
And then I just kept going further and further toward them little rabbit holes I like. And it
Saying
made
that I wanted to make my predictions. So, of course my number one prediction is that we'll get at least a partial reveal of the triplets, specifically I think Val and of course Ned's marriage.
my number one prediction is we find out who Tormund is.
All right. I'm skeptical we'll ever find out who Tormund is, but okay.
You hush your mouth.
I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying I'm skeptical.
And we'll find out who Half Hand was at the same time. So, all right.
Yeah, I like that.
This was fun. I enjoyed the hell out of this video. I like the shorter chapters where we get a chance to talk.
It's fun when we get a chance to talk about such things, and we're much more upbeat recently for some reason.
Yeah, it's true. But hopefully, I've told Lady Thistle, I haven't been on Discord for a while. I've shunned pretty much anything A Song of Ice and Fire related, and it hasn't been on purpose. It's just gotten very disheartening with the lack of wins and and some of it becoming so stale because you read it so many times, and it's just me. I tend to shut things out. I don't mean to. It's just my brain chemistry, but with the possible winds lighting some sort of a fire. And like Monday, you could tell I was tired. I didn't have a whole lot in me, but the time we talked before that, it was a good, energetic type conversation. So I really enjoy when we get the opportunity to have a little fun with it, make it a little bit more entertaining and more energetic. So I mean, hopefully the everyone watching can appreciate it, but I appreciate it probably more than they would, just for simple fact that it takes the monotony of it or the staleness of it out and makes it um, um, a whole lot more enjoyable for me. So I'm for the stale performances or the lack of conversation. I do apologize, but like today, I enjoyed the hell out of it, and thank you.
Glad we have some more upbeat news to report as we
Yeah,
overinterpret so many things, like George swearing at a bar to secrecy because he's giving them a wins of winter update
and not just any bar, the world famous Game of Thrones review bar.
For the show watchers,
the
reaction YouTube reaction video bar, and the well-known bartender there saying that that's what happened, that he gave them an update that's one of secrecy. I don't know, I have a hard time coming up with an update that wouldn't require swearing secrecy that isn't something along the lines of getting really close, or it's done, or it's almost done, or something along those lines. We're in our final edits, however you want to phrase that. But certainly, it was certainly like that than when last time we saw this kind of box set, and so I'm hopeful. I understand why George would not want people to be saying it's done before it's done.
It's done.
I think it's getting close.
It's done.
It's getting close enough that there's chance for rumors. And maybe some of those are brought about by George and him saying things to the Burlington bar.
It's done. That's my prediction for wins the winner. It's done.
My prediction is it'll be announced by Christmas.
Yeah, I got the same sneaking suspicion. I definitely think pre-orders will happen before Christmas, but in time for Christmas to increase the number of orders. I mean,
pre-orders will probably be available for the Christmas shopping season. That would be my.
And that'll be there's your pre-order, there's your gift.
Probably by Thanksgiving they'll announce and have pre-orders available.
Yeah, let's hope. But anyway. I had a fun video today, man. I appreciate it. This is pretty good. Like as every Friday, the Fridays that I actually make it to a live stream, I like to wish everyone a safe and fun weekend. Enjoy yourselves. I think it's going to be kind of rainy here on my end, which means I got stuff inside to do. But y'all take care, stay safe, and we will see y'all Monday. And be good. Bye, y'all. Bye, Richard.
Bye.